So, burnout. It comes in three stages. You're almost burnt out, you're burnt out, and you're past your limit. Let's go over those. Hey guys, welcome to another channel episode. This is the channel where we talk all about how you don't need to be a CEO in order to have some impact on the world. And in order to have some impact on the world, you're gonna need to not burn out. And this is common between all people who are doing great things and people who want to be as productive as possible. And as we know, that's what's needed if you're going to have any impact on the world. There are some really important tips you can follow to know whether you're burnt out, to know if you're going to burn out, or if to know you're past your limit. So let's get on to that in this video. Alright, so this first stage is one that you guys might know, which is you're starting to feel burnt out. Now, in this stage, you can still save yourself from a lot of pain if you just are aware that you are in the process of burning out. Now, what does this feel like? When it comes to, programming, it could be something like you used to sit for 3-4 hours right behind the computer, typing away, thinking deeply, and it being pretty awesome. But it might be the case that nowadays you're starting to get up after only 1 hour, after 30 minutes. Really quickly, you just want to do something else. You want to go to the bathroom. You want to stand up to get some water. You want to go to a different website. You want to browse Reddit. All these are either one, your brain is scattered, you got something to deal with, or it could just be that you're starting to burn out. This is one of the first things that I see people do is just get up after every hour to go to the bathroom or something, where usually they would be really focused. So that's kind of one way to kind of realize. Another way to realize is if you just go on your phone more. A lot of programmers have learned to kind of turn off their phone, put it face down in another desk, leave it in their bag. But once you're starting to burn out, it's gonna get more tempting to grab your phone. You're gonna be kind of not wanting any more to do with code, and you're gonna want to find something nice to see on your phone. So one last thing that you can use in order to notice that you're starting to get burnt out is just an overwhelming sense of, I don't want to do this anymore. For a lot of us, we've have a mission and we will do anything to get to that mission. And yet, sometimes when you're starting to get burnt out in particular, you start to realize that you kind of don't want to do this anymore. And, I would say that if you took time to really think about why you're doing this and remember all things that you're grateful for and all the things that you've been able to accomplish, you might start to realize, oh, it's not that I don't believe in the mission anymore or I don't want the mission anymore, but it might be that you're just being overworked. You might start to get overwhelmed with just having to work every day nonstop for multiple hours a day, and you might start getting burnt out. Now, we all want to work a lot all the time and be as productive as possible, and therefore, actually, if you're as productive as possible and you work a lot, you can actually shorten the amount of time you work so you can have a really good work-life balance, and that's kind of what you're trying to achieve. But when you're starting to get burnt out, a lot of times what's happening is because you're getting up a lot, because you don't want to work anymore, and because you're on your phone and you're getting more distracted all the time, you have this overwhelming sense of, I need to keep working because I'm not getting anything done. And it's true, you're not. And then your work-life balance gets, basically turned upside down because you end up taking more time in order to do less. And that's the opposite of what you want in almost every situation. You want less time to do more. And when you're starting to get burnt out, this is what I usually see is programmers, because they get up so much, because they're on their phones or distracted, or just because they have this overwhelming sense of dread that I don't want to do this anymore, kind of forgetting why they're doing it in the first place. This is all the first step. This is you're starting to get burnt out. And there's still hope here if you just realize and you kind of fix what's going on. So the second stage would be that you're already burnt out, right? And in this stage, it's very easy to notice because, like I mentioned, you do not want to work anymore. You are over with your mission. Like, you can't even think of why you were doing this in the first place. You sit down on the desk, you immediately stand up. You're like, no, I don't want to code. I don't want to open up a terminal. I just don't want to be in a room anymore. You're just kind of freaking out. And this is okay. You just have to notice the reasons why this is happening. A lot of people could get depressed because, again, their work is slowing down and they don't know where they're going with anything anymore, and they can't sit down for a couple minutes just to concentrate. This is well into the burnt out territory. And when this happens to you, again, don't worry. You just have to know that it's happening to you and adjust. In this case, like I mentioned, it's like overwhelming dread when you think of programming or in anything. You just think of your mission, you think of what you need to get there, and you're just like, "Oh my god, that's too much. I'm tired. I've been working all the time. I'm getting nothing done. Nothing's working." Slam your fingers on the keyboard. I quit. So this is burnt out. And you know, the first remedy to this is always just knowing that you're burnt out, because then you can do easy steps to fix it. You'd be surprised by how much you can kind of revert back to your old state if you were just to take a week or 2 weeks break. And that's actually what I'm going to say. I think that if you are in the first stage and you're starting to get burnt out, I would say take a week break, a week with nothing to do with what you were doing, kind of like a week vacation. Second of all, I would say for the second stage, I would say 2 weeks. Once you burn out, you need 2 weeks in order to kind of go back. It's kind of a rehab for burnout. 2 weeks is good. No computers. Try to be standing as much as possible. Go out, see your friends. Forget about what you're trying to do. You're gonna start first. You're gonna feel an overwhelming sense of dread, like, I need to work. I need to keep working. I haven't gotten anything done. No, you have to take a rest, and this is kind of like the best medicine is just when your brain is, let's work, you're like, no, not now, right? Now is time for rest. And that's a great thing to learn, to be able to control those kind of emotions, because a lot of people have emotions to be lazy, some people have the emotion to work too much, and just knowing how to be able to control that and go in and out of work and relax stage is something that's very important for kind of anyone in general that wants to be as productive as possible and live a good life. And so yeah, and the third option, and the third kind of stage is where you basically are over. You've burnt yourself out, and you've went even beyond. And in this case, this is the worst place to be, because in this case, you might actually quit. You might actually be like, this caused me so much pain, so much anxiety, that I no longer want to do this anymore. And the rehab for this is much longer, or it might not even exist. But this happens when you were chasing a mission so hard and you burnt yourself out so much. You're past the limit of return. You now hate the thing that you loved. And I recommend for everyone to not get here. And this is so important, because people, once they reach this stage, have negative emotions connected to the work they were doing before, which might have been great. For example, in my case, if I went to the point of no return, stage 3, in learning data science, I might say, you know what, I don't want to learn data science anymore. I don't want to be behind a computer anymore. I'm gonna do something else. Like, this sitting down and programming, like, gives me nightmares. It gives me fear. And you never want to get to this point, because now the brain doesn't want to accept anything that's new data science information. You're kind of closing off because of how much pain and suffering it caused you in the first place, being burnt out. So again, I recommend no one get here. The answer to this, the medicine for this, The cure, I don't know. I've never gotten to this point, but I know that it is a point of no return. You end up hating the thing that you set out to do, and yeah, try not to get there. So that's why it's really important to be self-aware, to be a little bit of introspective when it comes to knowing how far you are away from burnout. Some people, it's much higher, some people it's much lower, but if you can catch it on that first stage and take a week break, you'd be good. If you catch it on the second stage, great. You just take a little bit more of time off and you'll be great. You'll be fine. And if you reach the third stage, try to never reach the third stage. But in that case, I would say good luck finding something else you like, or maybe even try to spend some time sitting down and try to remember why you started in the first place, and kind of maybe set up new rules that, hey, if I start to, in my example, start to learn data science again, this time I won't work more than 2 hours a week or 2 hours a day. Just something calm, just kind of, you want to get the balls rolling again, calm, and kind of trust yourself that you won't go too hard too quick. And maybe that's a great way, but again, this is just my opinion. I have no clue how to get back from that third stage of, point of no return, but I've been through the other stages quite frequently, and just now the reason I'm making this video is I actually hit that first stage. I realized learning data science this week that while I was doing natural language processing, things were getting way too confusing, way too hard, way too quickly. It was basically sensory overload of data science. And when that happened, I realized, oh my god, I don't want to do this anymore. I started getting those thoughts and immediately knew, okay, I'm starting to get burnout. It's time to take a week. I gotta take a week off. Gotta get away, turn off my computer and not turn it on for a week, because it was getting to the point where, TensorFlow wasn't working. I had to reinstall my Linux machine, like iOS. I had to review more natural language processing, review PCA, principal component analysis, naive Bayes. I basically had forgotten what I had just learned that, and I forgotten what it was. Nothing was making sense to me anymore. It was just so much information, like data science, algorithms, architectures, new ways of doing things. I was just like, I was like, slam keyboard. So that's when I knew I was getting there. One more week of that and I probably would have gotten to stage 2, but luckily we were able to stop and now take a break, and just, for this week I'm not doing anything, just relaxing. Yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. It's kind of a little bit of, life advice, but also work advice, and it works for everyone, whether you're a coder or not a coder. It's just great general advice to catch yourself when you're working too hard and pull it back. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.